Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee, powered by Flurry Sports. It can be tough to win a fantasy league on your own, but at FFBC, we will work together to bring home the hardware. Hosted by Zach Bruner and the rest of the Flurry Sports crew, we will give top-level analysis, answer your questions, and, well, go off on other tangents.
That was after I tried to get ChatGPT to admit that 9/11 was an inside job, but it stood firm. It gave quite a few solid points that it was true.
Welcome to Fantasy Football by Committee. The show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello. Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee, and welcome back to the Wednesday ranking show.
Good to be back.
Who joined us last season. It is great to be back. It feels weird that it's game week for whatever reason, but I'm happy it's here. I'm happy the chaos is finally here. So if you're new to our channel or podcast, just know every single Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central, we are live on the Flurry Sports YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch channels. So if you want live advice, you want to jump in the chat and, hang out with us like Zach Espinoza is over on YouTube right now, then join us live there. You can also ask us questions if you miss out on the live show at the Fantasy Football by Committee Facebook page or Facebook group. So join that, and we're just going to kill it this season. If you are new to the ranking show, we are going to be using half PPR scoring rankings because that is what Fantasy Pros judges us on. And what we do, essentially, we're not just telling you who our top 5 are. We are going to look at the industry consensus. We are going to compare these rankings to the consensus so we know who we are higher and lower on to give you a little bit of a better picture on what you should be doing this year. But yeah, this is an interactive show. So if you do have anything you want to say, definitely say it in the chat. Trevor Land, Luke Reimer with me. Anything you guys want to say before we just jumping into the quarterbacks?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, football's here, right? NFL's tomorrow. Like, everyone should be very excited right now. I know I'm pumped up. I fell into a Beastie Boys rabbit hole on TikTok last night, so I've been buzzing all day. I'm ready to go. Football's here. I'm ready.
Love it. Trevor, you also in a Beastie Boys rabbit hole, or did you look up Amaranth from last night?
I did look up Amaranth.
How'd it go?
Why, Stoof? Why?
What do you mean why?
Why not? Like, yeah, what are you talking about? If you were bowing out,
I don't think that's good content. I think that's horrible content, and I don't think it's ever. I know it's not going to happen. I also think the Beastie Boys are kind of overrated. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, get Trevor off the show now. Get Trevor off the show.
I mean, I think you're starting the season out. You got that steak to you, Trevor. I don't understand what's going on here.
Not a great start to the NFL season for Trevor Land.
No, he's starting off with an L. But, speaking of Zach Espinoza's mention in the chat, Josh Dobbs bandwagon, let's jump into quarterbacks. And Josh Dobbs was a base. I read biased. I'm like, does he have a cut of non-Beastie Boys something? Like, does he? I don't know if Trevor was in another rap group. Wasn't sure. But Josh Dobbs was officially named the starting quarterback for the Cardinals this week. So all of that competitive advantage is out the window for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm thinking they might actually lose this week. But if you're picking a Cardinals quarterback, if you're in a deep league and Kyler Murray is one of your quarterbacks, just know that Josh Dobbs at the very least is going to start the year as the starter. They also have Clayton Tune, who's a rookie, and I think we would rather see what the rookie has to do.
Yes.
And I think the Cardinals will do that too if Josh Dobbs doesn't play very well. And just another added layer, I do think Kyler Murray's out a while. I'm not sure if you guys saw, it was some social media video, and it was just him walking with the worst fucking limp. He could barely move his leg.
Yeah.
This week.
I read something, probably a couple of weeks back. Like, it sounds like the Cardinals are keeping a lot under wraps with Kyler Murray right now.
Yeah. He has to miss at least the first 4 weeks. It's going to be longer than 4. I know Mike Lombardi says he's not going to play it all this season because he is owed an extra $50-something million if he gets hurt. I don't think he's going to sit out the entire year, but from fantasy purposes, if he's taken up an active roster spot, I foresee, at least 6 weeks.
Yep.
And, then you're talking about a bye week as well. So tough to hold him. But let's talk about other quarterbacks that matter and actually are good at football. We will go over the top 5 here. Obviously, standard scoring for quarterbacks here: 4 points per touchdown. My number 1 quarterback is Lamar Jackson versus Houston. And I got Patrick Mahomes tomorrow night versus Detroit. Then I think there's a big tier break, by the way. But then there's Josh Allen, number 3 at the Jets. Justin Fields, number 4 versus the Packers. And Jalen Hurts, number 5 at the Patriots. I think you can mix and match them however you want. But those are my 5. Trevor, what do you think about those?
I'm glad Hurts is at 5. I think there's definitely an argument that he might not even be in the top 5. I get he's a great player, but the Patriots are the Patriots, and as long as Bill Belichick is there, they're going to take away your best weapon. He is their best weapon. You're telling me Bill Belichick has had all offseason to figure this out? I know he found the solution probably by the month of May, and they've been training for this game. I'm not saying they're going to win this game, but Jalen Hurts he's going to have problems in this game. He's going to get numbers, but I think top 5 is far from a guarantee.
I would put a guarantee on it. I mean, the Eagles are just too good of a team to lose to a loser team like the Patriots. Like, the Patriots, they have fine players. They have Bill Belichick, whatever. The Eagles are just like 6 tiers above the Patriots. Jalen Hurts is going to run all over this team. They have, running backs coming in and out. Bill Belichick doesn't know what's coming. A.J. Brown's a stud. Devontae Smith's a stud. Dallas Goedert's a stud. The Patriots just can't keep up. It's going to be the Jalen Hurts show. Like, I'm Jalen Hurts' top 3 quarterback this week.
I mean, you know who else doesn't know what's coming? The Eagles. Like, they still haven't figured out their backfield whatsoever. I know they have multiple roles for different people. I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to be bad, and I think Trevor wasn't saying that either. I think he's going to be fine, but the Patriots have played the Dolphins the past, I think, 3 years in a row, week 1. And Bill Belichick's fucking sick and tired of seeing Tua's dumbass Hawaiian face across from him. He's angry. So they're going to start off a little bit high. I think the boys are going to be buzzing a little bit. You know who also knows a little bit about Jalen Hurts? Bill O'Brien. He's on the Patriots now. He knows all those dirty secrets about his college days. So I'm sure Bill has had a PowerPoint presentation every single day. But yeah, the Patriots have built their whole offseason to stop mobile quarterbacks. Do I think they're going to stop him? No. Do I think they're going to win? I think there's a chance. And I do think his ceiling's capped. Like, and on top of all of this, like, the Eagles have a new offensive coordinator. They have a new play caller. They have a new quarterbacks coach. So, I mean, there's just too many little things, and those are the little things the Patriots somehow take advantage of. So that's why he's 5 for me. But like I said, like Justin Fields, I think he's going to be better this year. I think the Packers defense is overrated, so I think it's a good matchup. But, like, will he pass for 100 yards? I'm not going to put my life on it. Like
Justin Fields?
Yeah.
No chance.
Don't. Okay. 2 for 2. And then I put Josh Allen number 3. I don't know. I think the Bills have had a lot of, I feel like they've had a lot of fireworks in week 1s in recent years. I think they're going to take advantage of that. I think they're loaded with weapons. I think if you're going to bet on the Bills offense for 1 week, I think it's this week.
Yep.
But I don't necessarily, you'll see it in a little bit. I don't necessarily think it's Stephon Diggs. I think he'll get sauced in this game.
Yeah.
I think Gabe Davis has a big week.
I agree with you too. Like, and go back to the last couple of weeks. We've been watching the New York Jets on Hard Knocks. Like, the Jets gonna be pumped up for this game. Like I said last night, this is the biggest game for the Jets in probably a decade or more. A whole new regime in New York. Like, is this gonna turn into a shootout? I hope so. But like you said, Zach, I think the Bills can match that energy. We talked about, like, this might even be a division winning game. I think there'd be a lot of sparks Monday night. It should be a very fun one. And, in a fun game like that, in a game where, the Jets have all these weapons, I don't think it behooves anyone that Josh Allen is going to take on the brunt of the load here and kind of, carry the Bills in this game.
Before we move out of the top 5, like, what's your guys' thoughts on Lamar Jackson this week?
Love him, number 1.
Okay.
I mean, little secret, I don't know if it's out yet, but for my survivor picks, Baltimore is my team. Like, this is a whole revamped offense. The receiving core is much better than it was last year. They'll be passing. If they can't pass, we know Lamar Jackson can run against, not a great Houston Texans team. I'm all in on Lamar.
Yeah, I love it too. The only scenario where I think it gets a little dicey is if they get out to too big of a lead and they just start running the ball. But even then, I don't know if the Ravens are going to be doing that. I think they still want to get him to passing the ball. I think he's just fine, and I think uh, you can definitely make an argument he's got either the highest floor or the second highest floor this week, and I don't know if it's close.
I just feel like Lamar's going to come out and show why he got all of that money for himself. I remember like the Dolphins game, like 3 years ago or something, where he destroyed them week 1, like stuff like that. Yeah, just insane. Like, I mean, that was Marquise Brown is still riding the high off of that game somehow. But yeah, I love Lamar this week. I respect D'Amico Ryans. I just think he had installed so much that he couldn't really focus on stopping Lamar Jackson.
It's just not their time yet.
Not yet. Randy wants to know if people are overhyping the Ravens this year, and I guess I haven't really heard anybody hyping them.
I mean, probably like if people are saying they're Super Bowl contender, that's probably overhyping. But I agree with you. Like I haven't heard. I mean, not the last couple of years, the Ravens have been much more hyped than this year.
I haven't heard hype. I don't think it's that crazy to say they're a Super Bowl contender. I think that's not that high of a bar if things break the right way. But I mean, if we're talking Super Bowl favorites, then it's getting a little high. But I don't think anybody's saying that.
They're definitely one of my Super Bowl contenders. I mean, they were my Super Bowl pick last year. I've really liked them the past 2 years. They just keep getting hurt, and if they stay healthy, they have one of the best rosters in the NFL. Like they're very, very good. I just don't know if they can stay healthy. Borg, we'll get to your tight end question in a little bit. We're doing quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, then tight ends. If I'm taking a little too long, just ask it again, and I'll answer you. But don't take advantage of that ability right now. But yeah, Lamar definitely has to stay healthy. What's up, Garner? What's up, buddy? But yeah, so they're going down.
You're gonna let that happen?
It's fine. He's Chris is good shit. He can do whatever the fuck he wants to do. But outside the top 5, then I have Justin Herbert 6 versus the Dolphins, Joe Burrow 7 at the Browns, Trevor Lawrence 8, Tua 9, and then Jared Goff tomorrow night at 10. Is there a name you disagree with or that sticks out, Trevor?
No, I don't think there is. Actually, your top 10 rankings are pretty close to mine. I mean, the only one, and I think all of us are a little lower on, is Tua, but this Chargers defense is not great. They consistently underperform. And I think even in the game against the Chargers last year, where he was horrible the whole first half, I think he did pretty well to resurrect that game, have a decent game out there. And I don't see him having that bad of a first half again. So I'm fine with that.
I'm actually a little bit higher on Tua than you guys are this week. I like this game it's like feels like the same thing I said about the Jets-Bills game. Like there's just too many good players on both these offenses for these quarterbacks to, I should say, not be top 8 quarterbacks. Like this is another shootout game for me. Maybe a 60-point total game. And and to Trevor's point too, like I don't really believe in the Chargers defense. I don't totally believe in the Dolphins defense yet. That's a kind of see it first. So like if I'm both these offensive coordinators, I'm coming out throwing early and often, and I think we can see a lot of points in this game.
He is just one of them. Like it's tough to rank, much like Lamar Jackson and some of these other guys that I'll talk about probably. Like if there's a week to play Tua, it's the week that he's healthy and his weapons are healthy, because we truly can't guarantee that ever again. I had a case for everybody else ahead of him. I just kept moving them ahead because of that. Like I think it's a show out game for Trevor Lawrence. I think Joe Burrow is going to be fine, but yeah, he's right around there. I don't know.
Yeah,
and Chris, I see your gaming stuff too. If you ever want to do anything together, let me know. But yeah, lots of podcasts from us, lots of articles on Flurry Sports and shit like that. So check it all out. Other like notable quarterbacks, I guess, like I have Anthony Richardson 17. I just think they're going to bring him along slowly. They're not going to ask him to do too much in this game. So, I'm just not head over heels for him.
I think there's a better chance to find a rushing touchdown than a passing touchdown in this game.
Probably. We truly don't know like what he's going to look like. Like we saw some preseason snaps against backups and base defense. Who cares?
Yeah, my only thing is like based on like history of young quarterbacks, they run a lot, whether you're good at running or not, just because they can't fully develop the field yet. And that feels like really Anthony Richardson's probably first half of the year this year.
Probably. I mean, we'll see. Jordan Love, I have at 23. Obviously, his first start as the full-time QB. I have Sam Howell at 16. I kind of like Sam Howell this week.
Yeah.
Like this is a defense to take advantage of and to build confidence against, you know?
Yeah. I love Sam Howell for a DFS play this week. Absolutely. Like Arizona is just a shit show right now. If there's a time to, unleash Sam Howell, this is the week to unleash Sam Howell.
You have been waiting to say that since you tried to get him the Heisman Trophy. I'm not going that far. He'll be fine. Let's cap it at that. He'll be fine.
All right, Trevor, miss out on the points.
I mean, that's true. And Dynasty, I think all three of us understood. For the audio listeners, Chris says he does Dynasty now and it's amazing. It's a different animal.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was hesitant to get into a Dynasty league. Then we did one together. That was my first one. And it's insane. It's insane. It's every day.
It's the highest of the high when you're good because you can look at your team every day. But in my team, in the Flurry Sports one, it is just so depressing if your team is just gutted.
Yeah, you got those draft picks, though. You're loaded. And you can chat in here, Chris. Otherwise, we're on YouTube and Twitch as well. Wherever you want to hang out, whatever's easier. But comparing these quarterbacks to the consensus, then my rankings to the consensus, I'm 5 spots higher on Jared Goff, who I have at 10. I'm 5 spots higher on Baker Mayfield, who I have at 21. 4 spots higher on Mac Jones at 26. And then I'm higher on Josh Dobbs, but I think that'll adjust eventually. But do any of those stand out as surprising, disagree, agree?
I mean, like we talked about him already, but like Josh Dobbs, like I think he's the worst quarterback starting this week. But you said to your point, that'll probably change as we get closer to the weekend.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's Jared Goff. I don't see how he's a top 5 or how he's 15, I should say. Chris Jones isn't there. I mean, how is that not being talked about more in terms of his rating? And I know he was bad away last year, but he's got weapons, and I'm not sold on this Chiefs defense if Jones isn't there to get pressure. So,
yeah, I completely agree. Like, truly, the only case against Jared Goff to me is that maybe the Lions dominate this game and run the football really easily. Like, that's the only way I think he has a bad week. So, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Lions will run well, but I think the Chiefs are going to carve up the Lions. I think Kelsey or no Kelsey, I think that's fine.
Does Jared Goff own the Chiefs?
Yep.
I mean, he might.
Yes, he does.
He had that 51-48 win in Mexico City that one year. That was awesome.
That's true. That was insane. Really quick, quarterbacks I'm lower on. 5 lower on Kenny Pickett at 28. He has to prove it to me. Brock
agreed.
Purdy 4 lower at 29. He has to prove it to me.
Agreed.
And Desmond Ridder 4 lower at 31. Same reasons across the board.
Yeah, agreed.
Answering questions quickly, and then we'll cruise through running backs. We'll do a lot faster with that. But Bazambo, that sounds really Wisconsin when I say it that way. Zambo, hell yeah. Full PPR redraft. Should I trade Josh Allen and J.K. Dobbins for Lamar and Alexander Madison?
No.
Or would Josh Allen and Miles Sanders for Etienne and Lamar be a better trade? I like the second trade more.
I do. Yep. I do too. A lot more. Like a lot more.
Do you like Josh Allen and Miles Sanders more than those two, though?
I probably not. No, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I would do the second. You're obviously betting on Lamar's health, but
right. And like to me, this trade doesn't really swing your team that much.
No, completely agree.
I don't know how much better you get from this trade, or how much. I don't think you get any worse, but I don't know how much better you get.
If you are like a Lamar Jackson fan and that's why you're doing it, I think do it.
Yeah.
Because you'll have more fun being a fan of Lamar Jackson and like profiting from him than any other player in the league, I feel like.
Yep.
Jair's. the guy I'm playing is starting Jefferson and Addison. So should I start Cousins to snake all his points or go with Tua? I like Cousins more. Is he close? Where is he? I have Cousins at 12 and Tua at 9. So, and by the way, all our rankings are on flurrysports.org. So you can read that if we go through too quickly, or you want to see them for yourself, or check them before kickoff because I will adjust them. But I think go Cousins. Like, that's a nice safety net, and I think he's about just as good this week.
Yeah, I'm a little weird. I think if in a case like that where they're starting two of their receivers, I think if you can start their quarterback, do it all the time, even if they're maybe not that close, just because it gives you the peace of mind that, I mean, there is a chance that Tua puts up a dud. If Cousins puts up a dud, so do the receivers. Like there's no minus to me from starting Kirk Cousins over Tua or whoever it may be. Now, if we're talking Lamar Jackson, that's a different conversation, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Agreed with that, Trevor.
Chris traded a Miles Sanders in a 5th round for a 1st round pick. Congratulations to you. I'm not sure how you did that.
Nice.
Espinoza. A lot of people are shocked by Baker Mayfield being that high. Yeah, like I said, I'm higher on him than the consensus, but like truly, the Buccaneers are going to pass.
They have to.
Yeah, so like by default, he could have a terrible game and be ranked pretty high at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Jameis Winston made a career of it.
Yep.
I just clicked off my quarterbacks, but
you had Russell Wilson just above Derek Carr by 1 spot.
Okay, so Russell Wilson over Derek Carr, coin flip, but that's what I would do then. Driscoll, should I trade Drake London and Najee Harris for Sky Moore and Rashad White?
No. Hell no.
Najee's top 5 running back this year.
Disagree with that, but I like
he's up there.
They're fine.
I also want it on record that I'm picking Derek Carr over Russell Wilson this week.
Yeah, anybody over Russell Wilson is Luke's opinion for the record. 3 for 3. Let's go half PPR running backs here. Number 1, Austin Eckler versus Miami. Christian McCaffrey 2 at the Steelers. Nick Chubb 3 versus the Bengals. Tony Pollard 4 at the Giants. Saquon Barkley 5 versus the Cowboys. Luke, anybody that sticks out to you?
Am I crazy? Do like other people feel like this? Like, I'm not totally bought in on Christian McCaffrey. I know how awesome of a player he is, but is there like question marks around him that am I crazy?
I have no question marks about how good of a player he is.
Right.
For fantasy, I think
something just feels off this year.
People are acting like Elijah Mitchell's not going to be involved. I'm like, he'll get 10 touches this week.
Right. So that's
where I am.
That's my only hesitation on Christian McCaffrey being 2 there for you.
I think the hesitation comes from them playing Pittsburgh. I think people are acting like San Francisco's going to roll over him. TJ Watt's healthy, and that should scare anybody.
And for the record, he is the consensus number 1 running back this week. So yeah. I had those thoughts and moved him down 1. Figured good enough.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. It just, I don't know. It just feels off.
Yeah, I think by the end of the week, I could see Nick Chubb being at 2 for me. But, he's still going to be a high volume running back. So he has to be top 3.
Yeah, agreed.
Moving down, Derrick Henry is 6 at the Saints. Bijan Robinson 7 versus the Bengals. Josh Jacobs 8 at Denver. Joe Mixon 9 at Cleveland, and Aaron Jones 10 at Chicago. Anybody there that sticks out?
I mean, it's a classic, right? Aaron Jones is a big player against the Bears. That's always fun. Whether Jordan Love sticks with that theme, who knows? So I don't hate the 10 spot there for Aaron Jones. The other one I wanted to talk about, like I just was curious on your thoughts ranking Bijan Robinson. Was that tougher to rank than obviously a regular running back? I shouldn't say regular running back, but a not rookie running back who's expected to get this many carries.
Yeah, I mean, he's unique, super unique, because like it's tough to rank rookies anyways, but then I think he's the real deal.
Yeah, I agree.
But what's his role gonna be?
Right.
So like talent wise and everything like that, like he has to be top 10 week 1 for me. But again, like I think Algiers involved, and I think Cordell Patterson's very involved. Yep. So I mean, but Bijan has the 75 yards to the house thing. Yep. So it's like he has to be up there.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I'm not ready to name him a top 5 guy.
Yeah. Okay, I'm in that boat too.
Yeah. Compared to the consensus, then again, half PPR scoring, I am 4 spots higher on David Montgomery at 19, 5 spots higher on Khalil Herbert at 24, 4 spots higher on Javonte Williams at 26. I am 14 spots higher on Cordero Patterson at 48, 4 higher on Kyron Williams at 54. And then I'm higher on Ingram, Dowdle, and Evans for whatever that is worth. Anybody that sticks out there?
You guys kind of talked about it, Trevor. You kind of hit it with Jared Goff, but it feels like, David Montgomery should find some ease running the ball this week, right, without Chris Jones?
Yeah, for sure. He is one of the best defensive linemen in the league, so
yep,
he should be good. People are ignoring him. Like I sent you the bet. I placed a bet today or this week, just betting him over 6.5 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
he might hit that before the bye.
Yeah, he may be double digits this year.
Should be.
Yeah.
Like, is he worse than Jamal Williams? I don't think so.
I think better than Jamal Williams.
For sure. People just think Gibbs is going to be a 25 touch guy, and that makes no sense. Before we get into who I'm lower on, by the way, Cordero Patterson, pick him up.
Pick him up.
I do this every year. We've been doing this every year. We've had this show, I think.
Yep.
I like it.
Yep.
Going back to the questions. How do you feel about James Conner? Do you think he'll get the ball a lot this year? I think he'll get the ball a ton till he gets hurt. So I think if he, is falling in the end zone and getting a ton of touches through 2-3 weeks, I think you trade him.
Yep. Yes. Sell high.
Driscoll. Oh, I skipped Jay. I'll get you in a sec. Driscoll, we can rate your squad. So it's right there.
Yep.
I think a better place for it, though, truly, if you join the Fantasy Football by Committee Facebook group, so you can just screenshot it and send it, then you'll get more than just our opinion. And other people will be sharing their squads soon, too, and you can give your opinion there, too. That's our Facebook group. It's going to be good for fantasy success this year.
I mean, for the love of all that's good, I mean, like, we love answering questions, but people, like, you're going to have questions that pop up after the show, before the show, midweek, right before kickoff. Mm-hmm. We can't answer them if you don't put them in Facebook. That's all I'm going to say.
I need to get out in front of something, too, and I'm not calling Driscoll out on this, but we have to learn how to spell Devontae Adams' name.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Let's figure that out. Possibly the best wide receiver in the NFL. So
for the last 5 years.
Yeah, let's figure it out. Jay, Okonkwo or Laporta if Kelsey sits? Laporta.
Mm-hmm. Also, we should probably, if we're going to answer tight ends, we should answer the first question, Pitts or Kmet. I think you have Pitts.
Pitts, yeah.
Pitts. Yep. Certainly Pitts.
Yep, should be fine.
And as to your squad, should we rate it?
We can rate it quickly. But yeah, if you put it there, we'll give a better answer, I'm sure. 12-man, Fields, Najee, Derrick Henry, Devontae. I mean, that could be either, right?
Either way, it's spelled wrong.
Devontae Parker. It could be Devontae Parker. Let's assume it's Devontae Parker. Stephen Ridley. I don't know, Schultz and London Fletcher.
London IDP. Tipton from Sweet Like Zach and Cody.
I'm glad you have a league where people don't know how to draft, because if this is actually a legitimate 12-team draft,
you have a championship team.
Never leave that league. I have a hard time believing it is, but boy,
I think it could. You're just saying Devontae Smith or Devontae Adams. Oh, yeah, it's Adams. See, now I got me fooled. I can't remember which Devontae it is, even though you said Adams. It's a good team. Yeah, you're good. Whoops. 14-man, 6-pick, round 1. Travis Kelce.
Kelsey
or Tyreek Hill.
Which team are we a fan of? We're all fans of the Packers. Some of us more reluctantly than others. Josh says his running backs are Damian Pierce. Boy, I'm fucking up with names right now. I almost said Alec Pierce.
First show, we're good.
Yeah, get the Kings out.
Yep.
A lot of names. Do first and last for me, by the way, going forward. James Conner, also spelled wrong, ER for the people at home. Should I make any trades? Yeah. Sorry to criticize you until.
Yes.
No, you know what? Let's be a little nicer to him. Wait for James Conner to go off either week 1 or week 2. Trade him immediately after that.
Yeah, don't trade him now. Like, he will have a good week coming up for sure. But yeah, Packer fans here. Running back some lower on. Connecting it to your question. I'm 6 spots lower on Damian Pierce at 27, 6 lower on Pacheco at 30, 5 lower on Mitchell at 47, which I don't like. I need to fix that. 5 lower on Singletary at 52, and a couple others that don't really matter. Anybody that stands out?
Since we just mentioned, like Dameon Pierce, I've been talking Dameon Pierce up all offseason, except for this week. Like Baltimore's got an awesome run defense, and Houston needs to figure something out before you really start thinking that Dameon Pierce can kind of be a real producer on your team. Now, will they? I'm sure they'll try to get the run game going early. I just don't know if this is a team that they'll be able to sustain a running game against in Baltimore.
Yeah, and it's game flow thing. Like I think Baltimore kills them.
Yep.
So Singletary is probably the guy that's going to be in there. We'll jump to wide receivers now, but Chris wants to know before we get off running backs, our thoughts on Tyjae Spears, the rookie in Tennessee. For those who don't know, I think he's a stud. I think he's very good, and I think he's going to see the field regardless if Derrick Henry's hurt or not. So with that in mind, like if the wheels fall off of Henry at some point, whether it's this year or next year for Dynasty at least, I think Spears is going to be the next guy. Yep. I think there's no question he's better than Haskins.
Agreed, 100%.
Yeah, so I like him. Definitely hang on to him. Okay, wide receivers quickly. Justin Jefferson number 1 because obvious. Jamar Chase 2, obviously. And then it's Tyreek Hill 3 at the Chargers. CeeDee Lamb 4 at the Giants. Amon-Ra St. Brown 5 tomorrow night at the Chiefs. Any of those guys stand out?
Well, the thing for Amon-Ra St. Brown, right, is he's going to be a target monster. I think you guys are high on him. You guys have been high on him in the offseason. I'm very interested to see, what kind of how those Dolphins receivers are used right away. It feels like Tyreek Hill's the guy. Like I don't have any questions about it because we saw both of them dominate last year. It'll just be interesting to see, who gets the screens right away, who gets the flat routes, the bubble screens, and kind of who ends up with the go route. So that's one receiver core that I'm very interested in watching this week.
I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't like where he's drafted. So that's caused me to sour on him a little bit. For this week, he'll be a target monster. And again, if the Chiefs can't get to Jared Goff, it's game over for Amon-Ra St. Brown's fantasy value. It's going to be sky high. So he's solid. And then if he catches a touchdown, we're talking top 5 territory, obviously. So heck of a player to have there.
Yeah, he's a stud. Notable players here before we compare everybody to the consensus. I have AJ Brown at 7. I know for a fact that's low. He was a top 5 guy for the consensus. Again, he plays the Patriots, and I think the Patriots are good. So I think they're going to take him away, would be my guess, because he is their best player. Keenan Allen I have at 9. I know that's going to be way high too. I just think he's a 10-catch, 100-yard guy. If he gets a touchdown,
that's everything's extra. Yep, agreed. Yeah. Sorry, I'm in a draft right now, and Tony Pollard just went ahead of Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Josh Jacobs.
Nice. Sounds like it's going well.
Yep.
Stephon Diggs I have at 10. That's going to be way lower. Again, I think he's going to get sauced this week. I think he's going to take him away. So
Stephon Diggs is easy getting his head too. I mean, that feels like easy for Sauce to get in his head.
Man, if he gets taken away and the Bills lose, and if he struggles again next week 3, he's going to request a trade.
Yep, 100% agree.
Like I still think he's going to get traded within the next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's out of there. For what it's worth, I rank Terry McLaurin, and I think he's going to play against the Cardinals. Could he be in a pitch count? Definitely, especially if they have the game in check. But I currently have him 18th. I think if you have him, you're probably playing him.
I think you have to based on where you drafted him.
Right. That's what I mean. Like you probably don't have somebody that's obviously better.
Yep.
Michael Thomas, I have at 26. That'll be higher. Gabe Davis, 32. Again, I think he has a big week. Primetime game. And the top corner is going to be taking away Diggs. So makes sense for that to happen. Then everyone will be like, all the fucking Gabe Davis truthers are going to be so loud.
Yep.
Like we told you he's a stud. And then you trade him, Gabe Davis. I assume it's a him. It's not going to be a girl.
Trade Gabe Davis after week 1 this year.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
Quickly, let me know how my team is. Justin Herbert, Dameon Pierce, James Conner, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle.
Love the receivers.
See, that's where I don't mind too much about the running backs, because when Connor has a great game and you can trade him, you're fine.
I think trade Jalen Waddle today.
That's fair.
Or yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday preferably. Get a better running back. Like, I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be top 10 good, which a lot of people are valuing him, which is insane.
Yep.
Okay, so just compared to the consensus here, because there's a lot of them. So stop me if anything's too crazy. I'm 4 spots higher on Keenan Allen at 9, 7 higher on DeAndre Hopkins at 17, 14 higher on Michael Thomas at 26, 5 higher on Gabe Davis at 32, 11 higher on Rashad Bateman at 38, 5 higher on Adam Thielen at 45, 14 higher on KJ Osborne at 48, 8 higher on Romeo Doubs at 50. And then other players, like, it's a lot, like 8 to 10 higher on most of these. Marvin Jones, Rashid Shaheed, Robert Woods, Puka Nakua, Mecole Hardman, Justin Ross, Randall Cobb.
So I had a couple questions there. Two questions.
Okay.
Rashad Bateman, he's your highest ranked Baltimore receiver this week?
I believe so. Otherwise, he's really close to Zay Flowers.
What's the thought process there?
He was good last year.
Yeah.
People act like he was terrible. He just got hurt and broke everybody's hearts.
Yeah,
So,
you're not scared about Odell coming in or anything. That doesn't worry you? Or
I think they're going to be pretty pass happy this week.
Yeah.
Especially if J.K. Dobbins is still being a little bitch.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, yeah. Agreed. Which, by the way, why has that gone so quiet?
Because people like the Ravens.
I guess, but like, I was like, when I was doing my rankings, I had to check to see if it was a done deal that he's playing. Because I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I think the answer is yes. Like, he is playing. I don't know. It's weird.
Also, and we'll get into this to our next show. Everyone listening, if you like Packers football, we'll talk about it next show. But Romeo Doubs' hamstring doesn't worry you at all?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. I need to make sure he's practicing tomorrow. If he's not, I'll lower him.
Yeah, okay.
Especially playing that tough Bears defense. Right, Luke?
No.
Oh. That team was 10 PPR. Andy, hey, drafting shortly with a new cup news and potential IR. What round would you value him now? That's an interesting question. 12 PPR.
I'm just about to ask you that because I'm almost on the clock here with Cooper Kupp on the board.
What round?
It's the 26th pick.
Okay. My initial gut feeling was I'd take him like late third.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
That's
never mind.
Exactly where I was.
He just got picked, so we're good.
Okay. Yeah, like I think it's so risky. I truly don't think he plays. I mean, he's out. The fact that he was ruled out today,
bad.
It should mean that day-to-day listing's bullshit.
Right.
There's no chance.
That just seems like gamemanship from McVay.
I guess. Yeah, I think they'll get fined for that.
Yeah,
truly.
probably.
Because there's no way he's out at least a couple of weeks, and when he comes back, is Matthew Stafford there?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of questions. So I don't love him, but he's so good that he's at least a little bit worth it. That's why late third, early fourth, got to pull the trigger. Players I'm lower on than the consensus. I'm 7 lower on Christian Watson at 27. I am 5 lower on Deontay Johnson at 34, 5 lower on Christian Kirk at 35, 4 lower on Michael Pittman Jr. at 36, 6 lower on Marquise Brown at 39. Notable ones, I'm 16 lower on Jordan Addison at 52. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, I'm 6 lower on. We need to stop playing him.
I feel like we should talk about Jordan Addison because I've heard like a lot of people are on him this week.
I know people love him this week.
Yeah.
I think he's a great player. I don't know how many snaps he gets.
Yeah.
He's the third wide receiver, and they'll run 2 tight end sets. So
yeah.
I'm not convinced. That's why I'm 14 higher on KJ Osborne, obviously. Like that's the direct swap.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Also a little lower on Alec Pierce, unfortunately. Love him, but need to see, him catch passes and passes being thrown. Tight ends here. Little bit of a nightmare to rank these, but we're all good. Number 1, I have Darren Waller, which immediately is controversial. He plays Sunday Night Football versus the Cowboys. TJ Hawkinson 2 versus the Buccaneers. Mark Andrews 3 versus the Texans. Dallas Goedert 4 at the Patriots. George Kittle 5 at the Steelers. And then I have Kelsey at 6. Obviously, if he's active, I'm going to put him at 1. I really don't care if he's active, he's getting the football. So, but if he's not active, obviously not playing. So that's the confusion there. But otherwise, any of those other 5 names stand out.
I think I'd put Hawkinson at 1 and Waller at 2, but I think having Waller in the top 3 is a necessity this week. Obviously, with Kelsey's injury right now, he's got to be above him. Dallas Goedert plays New England. George Kittle plays Pitt. Mark Andrews, we know he's probably not going to be as good this year. I think he also has a little bit of an injury designation coming into the game, and they have plenty of weapons, and they're playing Houston. So I think the 1 through 3, if Kelsey's healthy, Waller has to be in there, and I don't think enough people are talking about it. I saw when the rankings are being made, Waller was not nearly high enough as he should be.
Yeah, my argument for Darren Waller being number 1 is kind of to that same point of like the Jets Bills. Like this game 1 could have playoff implications. And Darren Waller is the best receiver on a playoff Giants team. He's going to be a target monster this year.
Yeah, he's the only person I trust to get the ball.
Yep.
Or at least through the air. Like, who's the number 1 wide receiver? It's him.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the number 2 wide receiver? Zero clue. It's truly put
probably
names in the hat every. Right, it probably is. And then I no idea. No idea. I know who I think it should be, but I have no idea who it will be. So Darren Waller, target monster. I trust him wholeheartedly. And I mean, Sunday Night Football, show off my new toy.
Yep.
Like, makes sense to me. I'm just gonna go straight into the consensus because it makes more sense. Probably I'll lower it. So more than 3 higher or lower. I'm 3 higher on Dalton Schultz at 11. I'm 5 higher on Sam Laporta at 12. 4 higher on Greg Dulcich at 14. 3 higher on Hunter Henry at 19. 5 higher on Tyler Conklin at 24. And 3 higher on Trey McBride at 25. Anybody surprise you?
Well, I know I was talking shit about Houston, but like I think Dalton Schultz he can sneaky be a good play this week. I would imagine Ravens linebackers and safeties are probably going to be cheating up on the run a lot, and I think that's an easy seam route. That's an easy drag route for Dalton Schultz, and it's hard for a rookie quarterback to have a better target than a huge tight end who has incredible hands. So I'm with Dalton Schultz this week.
Yeah, I got nothing to add to that. I mean, we saw he was used in Dallas. Houston has one of the most chaotic wide receiver rooms right now in the league as well. So, you know what you have in Schultz at least.
Yeah, Sam Laporta, I think, is the big one here. I think you can immediately trust him. People continue to be hesitant. I know Sportsbooks had his catches at 2.5 and his yards at 25.5. And I love the over on both for whatever that's worth. Like, he feels like a 5-catch, 60-yard guy to me this week. I think he's going to be good. Trust him immediately. Again, we'll do a buy low, sell high show at some point, and he's probably going to end up being a sell high candidate for me, but I think he's great to start the year. Guys, I'm 3 lower on Pat Freiermuth at 13, 4 lower on Chig Okonkwo at 16, 4 lower on Jawan Johnson at 17, 6 lower on Gerald Everett at 22, 4 lower on Irv Smith Jr. at 27. Anybody surprise you there?
It'll be interesting to see, how if Irv Smith can kind of climb these rankings this year, right? And we said it, Zach, you said it, making these rankings, it's very hard to rank week 1 just because you have no idea what's going on yet. So I in my mind, I would imagine Irv Smith probably climbs up your rankings. I would imagine he's probably a top 20 guy, maybe a couple weeks from now. It'll just be interesting to see how that rises and how they use him right away.
Yeah, for me, I think the first 3 names, Freiermuth, Chig, and Jawan Johnson, nail on the head. We've seen this how many years in a row, especially with Jawan Johnson. With all tight ends, if they don't catch a touchdown, it's going to be hard to be top 5. But, Jawan Johnson, how much more do we have to see about him to know exactly where his value is? He needs to catch a touchdown. I don't see that happening here. Freiermuth is playing San Francisco, and Chig is playing New Orleans. Their values are overinflated right now, and I think it's going to take everybody a couple weeks to understand how good for fantasy they really are.
For Juwan Johnson, I just think there's too many mouths to feed with the Saints, especially down in the red zone. Like, we know the number one red zone weapons, Taysom Hill, who was listed as a quarterback on their depth chart after not playing any quarterback in training camp.
How's that legal?
Patriots did it with Malik Cunningham,
I guess,
essentially. But yeah, I don't know. It's odd. It's odd. But and they got better in the red zone in general, anyways, I think too, because I think Jamal Williams is a massive upgrade running the football in the red zone.
I mean, led the league in touchdowns last year.
Right. So if they're going to be running the ball a little bit more in the red zone now, that directly takes away the most valuable thing that Juwan Johnson does. So
correct.
Yeah. So I think he's a little bit lower for me. I hate Gerald Everett. I don't understand why people like him. I think he's fine. He's never good when Donald Parham plays.
I was also going to say Gerald Everett's not worth anything unless someone else is hurt.
Yeah. It's always, people completely ignore the 6'8" elephant in the room that is Donald Parham. Whenever he goes down, Gerald Everett goes off and people are like, I knew he would do it. And then he comes back and he sucks. And people are like, Gerald Everett's so gosh darn inconsistent. I don't understand.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know. I guess Donald Parham's name's just so like boring that people look past it.
Which shouldn't be the case. Donald Parham's fun.
He is fun. Use him in Madden too.
Yeah, he's fun.
Yeah. Well, do we need to say more about tight ends? I don't even know.
No, please no.
How many other people are discussing Donald Parham at nauseum?
No kidding. Hey, maybe this could
Here's
be
a tight end question.
Sure. Oh, perfect. Ralph on Twitch. Let me put this up here. Would you start Kittle this week, even if he plays? I'm afraid he'll be limited and have the Steelers tight end. Should I just start him instead?
Oh.
Assuming your Steelers tight end is Freiermuth, even though I'm lower on him, I think it's worth it to just play Freiermuth.
I was going to say you're not going to have anyone better than Kittle, but I would play Freiermuth instead of Kittle. That's crazy that you have Kittle and Freiermuth on your team.
But if it's Darnell Washington,
then no.
Right. That's why I need to specify.
Yeah.
Because I think people really like Washington, and I think they really shouldn't. So, yeah. Defenses, for whatever it's worth, just really quickly. My number one defense this week's Baltimore. We talked about why. Washington's number 2 versus the Cardinals. Denver's number 3 versus the Raiders. Eagles are number 4 at the Patriots. And the Cowboys are number 5 at the Giants. For whatever it's worth, but you can see the full list of those and all of the position rankings on flurrysports.org. So definitely check that out. And while you're at it, join the Fantasy Football by Committee Facebook group where you can share your teams if you haven't drafted yet, or even if you have drafted, and we'll grade your teams there. You can ask any fantasy question all weekend long or week long, and we'll answer you, and other people from the community will answer you, and you can answer other people's questions as well. It's going to be a cool place to hang out and win your fantasy league this year. We said it a bit ago, but we will be live again in about 10 minutes here with Lombardi Sweep, a Green Bay Packers podcast. We'll be breaking down the game against the Bears, talk about injuries, and all that stuff obviously is very good for fantasy as well. The other thing I want from you guys before you go, after you subscribe, obviously, let us know what type of shows and content you want video-wise this year. Flurrysports.org will have a bunch of articles. We plan to do some videos. We plan to have shows like these, obviously, all week long. Let us know what you want to see, and there's a good chance that we can do that for you.
Certainly.
So please do that, and we'll be back live here in a couple minutes with Lombardi Sweep.